Good morning, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Please take your seats. It is Tuesday, June 6th. Shh. I want to welcome you to your Los Angeles City Hall. This is the Los Angeles City Council. This body meets every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Madam Clerk, we do have a quorum. Would you call the roll?
Blumenfeld, Bonin, Buscaino, Cedillo, Englander, Harris Dawson, Weezer, Koretz, Krikorian, Martinez, O'Farrell, Price, Rue, Wesson. 12 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you. First order of business.
The approval of the minutes.
Mr. Cedillo moves and Mr. Weezer seconds. Continue.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Mr. Rue moves and Ms. Martinez seconds. That brings us where?
Mr. President, today is Tuesday and time for the flag salute.
Okay, if I could ask everyone to please rise. We'll be led today in our flag salute by Mr. Cedillo.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's run through the agenda.
Mr. President, there are requests to continue item 5 to June 20th, item 6 to June 14th, item 1L and 1P to June 30th, and 1H to July 26th.
Okay, so without objection, so ordered. Continue.
The Department of Building and Safety recommends that the following items be received and filed as the liens have been paid in full. Items 1F, J, K, and O. Further, the department recommends that the lien amount on item 1M be reduced to $3,831.10 due to a partial payment.
Okay, without objection, so ordered. Continue.
Items 1 through 5 are items noticed for public hearing.
You have cards?
There are cards on items 1, 2, and 3.
Let's hold those items. Prepared to vote on the other items. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Continue.
Item 6 has been continued. That takes us to items 7 through 17, which are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay, so without objection, those items are now before this body. Do you have cards?
Yes, there are cards on all items except for 12, 13, 15, and 17.
Well, let's vote on those items. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes. That didn't help me. I needed you to say all the items that we were.
That's what ones asked. Luigi,
Let's move to the multiple. I'm sorry. Mr. Weezer.
Thank you. Can we reconsider item 16 and call it special for Mr. Krikorian?
Okay, let's vote on reconsideration. Item 16, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
We'll hold that on the desk. Madam Clerk, so where are we now?
Mr. President, items 18 and 19 are items scheduled for closed session. Public hearing has not been held on those items. Would you like to hold those on the desk?
For now, we'll hold those on the desk. Now, sergeants, I want to go to multiple comment. If I could call up Mr. Walsh and Mr. Previn. And let's say, who's on my screen? Let's go with Mr. Previn is up first. Mr. Previn, 1A, B, D, E, J, M, 7, item 7, 9, 10. And general comment. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. It is Eric Previn from the 2nd District. And today, evidently, we're honoring John Lee. This is his plaque. It is beautiful. I'm going to tell you that right now. Here, just as a courtesy, I just want you to see how gorgeous that is. That is absolutely stunning. Thank you. Item number 16, sir, which Weezer just called special for Krikorian, is the Sandra Carter
Mr. President,
matter,
the Speaker does not have a card on item 16.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to sign up on 16. Did I?
Well, Mr. Previn, why don't you just speak to the items I mentioned, and you can also speak on 18 and 19.
Well, I appreciate that. The litigation stuff I'm very interested in, and Sandra Carter was that case that was connected to Willits about disability and curbs and sidewalks and so on and so forth, if I'm not mistaken. 1E today is an important item from CD6. I bumped into a constituent who was struggling to find this place and the instructions to get her lien item. She's an owner of the property, and apparently they had done some work at one point but could not finish the work, and so, but then these people kept sending bills to come and inspect, where even though she had already canceled. So it was really frustrating, and now she's facing a $2,000 Councilmember Martinez, it's in your district, so if you could take a look at that. We instructed her to go and speak to someone from CD6 seeking relief, sir. This is a person who does not need this kind of a burden. We do not want to increase or augment the problem of getting people out onto the street. We have sufficient people out onto the street. We want to get them in someplace else, so that's what we're working on there. Item 2 is the Business Improvement District flood of items.
Mr. President, the Speaker does not have a card on item 2.
No, Mr. Previn,
Thank
you
you.
have to
Okay,
go to
fair
7 and 9.
Are we having
10.
technical difficulties this
No,
morning, sir?
Mr. Previn, I'm telling you what I have.
Okay.
So just speak to those
But we are having a
items.
camera difficulty.
Just
Okay,
keep
fine.
speaking.
Well, we'll learn about that later when we get the upcharge for the improvements. So which items then? I mean, you gave me some items. I thought it was 17, 18 and 19. Yeah, so those are the legal items that I've been looking at. One has to do with the LAPD between 2012 and 2013 regarding FEHA, which is the Fair Housing Employment. We are going to wait for Mr. Krikorian on that one. And then City of LA versus Joff Palmer has to do with the Da Vinci. You remember the fire and the ensuing Louis Brisbois, Bisgarden Smith cooperation. So I think that at this time, sir, given that you've not allowed me to speak on the items that I signed up for because you claimed I didn't sign up for them,
Mr.
I'm ready to go
Previn,
to
let's
my...
go to his general public comment. Okay, you have
that.
1
Thank
minute
you.
on general public comment, Mr.
Sure, I
Previn.
always like to be on point. And the point today is there's a Channel 35 camera that's been erected at the back of the hall. We know that you are aware of how this event is covered on a regular basis. We know that Mr. Faubel has once boldly and pronounced that you are in compliance with Rule 93. And his eyes narrowed and he smirked like a villain. I mean, we don't understand how that's possible, sir, since we understand the purpose of the rule. And Ted Lin, who's from the ITA, knows, because he outed with an email what actually happened. He wrote to all of you, including Justin, that there was some guy with a T-shirt, and they felt that they had to, going forward, punish everybody by reducing all the speakers. Today you're going to hear from Lydia. Many very sharp and pointed speakers are reduced to the size of a little smudge. So it's not appropriate, and it's not appropriate given hashtag Blumenfield's role. He's a very smart guy. He understands the difference between big, medium, and small. Many of us do, sir. And so with that, I would just ask Mr. O'Farrell to return.
Thank you, Mr. Previn. Thank you, sir. Mr. Walsh, John Walsh, you have items 1A, B, C, items 2, 3, 9, 10, 11, 14, 16.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org or J. Walsh Confidential. I also signed up for 16, but I'll handle that during public comment. Number 1, building and safety. You do an excellent job. If you do a great job, I say it. I'm not one of those white guys who say you're all a bunch of crooks. That's not me. If you do a good job, I say you do a good job. Number 2, this is the Figueroa Corridor. This is a BID. The BID does a good job. When they crossed the street, when the place was a crack house, I went to the LAPD and they told me to get lost. I went to the BID and they got rid of them in 10 goddamn days. Crooked? No, the BID is not crooked. Number 9. This is appointment of Lane Dicker to the Animal Services Commission. I'm telling you right now, the system works if you work the system. You put a person in here who got arrested for kiddie porn. Put in kiddie porn and you will find city council and you will find that person is in here, was in here. Number 10, Number 11, this is Greater South Park BID, another BID. Some are good, some are bad. Just like you. Some of you are good and some of you are bad. Number 14, this is purchasing. Okay, we're spending hundreds of millions of dollars on homelessness. So what are we doing here? We're spending over $1 million for a parking lot. I thought cars were bad. I thought if you were politically correct, a car was evil. So it doesn't say how much this is going to cost, but I understand all told, it's going to be somewhere between $4 or $5 million. Now, whoever owns 5400 Crenshaw Boulevard is going to make a fortune. Are they going to talk about it? No. It's another crooked deal. And back to number 10, I just want you to know, Mr. Dicker, we hope will do a good job. And I will speak on number 16 under public comment. But you can have, see, I'm not a kind of guy that goes up here and rounds and raves till it's zero. I'm going to make you a gift of the 45 seconds. And I want to go right into public comment.
Let's go to his public comment at this point.
This building is a fire trap. Watch the video of the meeting of 3 Fridays ago when the fire alarm went off and you sat up here with your fingers up your ass and did nothing. The building was evacuated. You lied and said it was a false alarm. It wasn't a false alarm. It was a fire on this floor. Am I wrong? Destroy my credibility. Say Mr. Walsh is out of his mind. There was no fire here. There was no fire alarm. There were no flames on the 3rd floor. The building was not. You can't say it because you are congenital liars. And we're fire trap. This building is a fire trap. We don't want the Olympics. If the Olympics come here, it's a death wish. But $1 billion will be transferred from the Olympic Commission, not to the city, but to the Olympic Commission, the local Olympic Commission. Do you know who runs that? You don't know. $1 billion fucking dollars.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. That concludes our multi-comment section. Mr. Bonnet?
Yes, Mr. President. I wanted to speak on item 9, which was one of the items that was in the multi-comment. How would you like to?
Okay, we'll hold item 9.
Thank you.
All right, and let's vote on items 2, 7, 10, 14, and 16. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
And Mr. President, on item 1I, there's a request to continue that to July 26.
Okay, then let's, without objection, so ordered. Do we have any additional cards on item 1? Ms. Hernandez, Jeanette Hernandez, please come forward. Alex Berra, we just continued, your item, sir, has been continued to July 26. So you can have a conversation with the council office and express your concerns, but that item will not be voted on today. It's been continued to July 26. Yes, ma'am.
You called me to come up?
Yes.
Okay.
You put in a card on 1I
No.
or 1E,
1E?
which is North 6443 North Dempsey.
That's correct.
Yes.
Okay, the lien mentioned, first of all, it mentioned interest, and I paid about 4 different times that they've sent me bills. The very last one, it was inspected before the cutoff date, and it said if it gets inspected, you don't have to pay it. I notified the supervisor at Building and Safety that the inspector had come before the cutoff date, and then I never heard anything further. I'm sure that if I owed a bill, you would have sent me some, more bills or something. And now you're saying all this time later, there's a lien and you've added interest to something that never existed to begin with.
Okay, so what we're going to do with your item, ma'am, it's going to be continued until June 30th, which means you can talk to representatives from Council District 6, which is Ms. Martinez's office,
Yes.
and see if we can't work that out, all right?
Okay, so do I go to her office to see
She's
her?
right over. She'll have a representative to my right. She's waving at you. She's waving. Okay? And 1N, we're going to continue that item until to July 26. Okay, let's vote on item 1. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
We'll take up item 8. I have a card from Ms. Ponce. Lydia Ponce, please come up on item 8.
Good morning, Lydia Ponce, Venice. This completes the task of putting together the boys club from the west side here to City Hall. We have people who are trying to pay their rent, and overnight it becomes an LLC, and they don't know why their checks are being held, and that becomes a problem because they get a 3-day notice and then they're put out by process. This is a faulty placement today with number 8 because this particular person has a conflict of interest, and I don't know why we're seating anyone without their financial records. And that's primarily what I want to say because the gentrification that happened in the last 12, 16 years in Venice is beyond heartbreaking. It's actually modern day genocide. You've removed veterans, you've removed elderly and disabled, you removed people who have actually limited incomes and displaced them. So there's 23% of the homelessness that's coming from Venice is from these plans right here.
Thank you.
Right there.
Thank you. Let's prepare to vote on that item. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Okay, now can we go to item 11? I think we have a card. Ms. Devine. Good morning.
Good morning, council members. Tara Devine, Devine Strategies. I am the renewal consultant for the bid, and I'm simply here to answer any questions if council has them. Thank you.
All right, well, let's prepare to vote on this item. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
And Mr. President, there is a request to send this item forthwith.
Without objection, so ordered. Mr. Bonin, on item 9, you wanted to speak to that item?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I wanted to rise. Mariam, could you come on up? This is a commission appointment, and I wanted to introduce
Sergeants,
her
could
to
you
the
help her
council.
get through? Sergeants?
Commissioners, come to the table.
He's going to... You don't have to hurdle it. They'll let you through.
She could, actually. Colleagues, I wanted to introduce you to Mariam Zahar, who we're confirming today as the mayor's nominee to the Commission on the Status of Women. Mariam is a friend of mine and a great partner and community leader in Council District 11. She's the current president of the Pacific Palisades Community Council, and before that she was the chair of the Pacific Palisades Task Force on homelessness, where she rallied the community together, people from all perspectives, to help serve the homeless and house the homeless and address neighborhood concerns in a way that has really been, I think, a model for the rest of the city. She has been a tremendous leader on women's issues. She is a regular columnist at the Huffington Post on women's issues. She's founder and director of Women Found, which is a nonprofit that raises awareness about the plight of women and children internationally and raises money for charities and NGOs that assist them. Her projects have included helping children in India, women's programs in Uganda, providing whistles and flashlights for women at risk of sexual assault in Guatemala, and funds and art for cancer-stricken children in Iran. She is herself an immigrant refugee from Iran. She's a leader in the LA Persian community, and she's just, in addition to all of this, she's also a mom who's raising a couple kids in Pacific Palisades. She's really phenomenal. I'm very glad the mayor has decided to put her on the commission. She's an emerging leader in LA that I'm sure you'll be seeing more of. Just wanted to give you an opportunity to say something by way of introduction to the council.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Councilmember Bonin, for that introduction. It was very kind of you to make. I'm not sure I deserved all of those accolades. Thank you. Good morning, council members. It's an honor for me to be here today. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have about my appointment. I'm thrilled to have been appointed onto the Commission for the Status of Women. I've already met with the president. We've spoken about a few issues that we may want to work on. If I'm confirmed and I'm on the commission, and I look forward to working with her. Some of those issues include trafficking, specifically female homelessness, and how we can address that as a subgroup of homelessness that really does need some specific, maybe policy addressing. And I'm more than happy to answer any questions. I wanted to add to Councilmember Bonin's introduction that I'm also the vice chair of RAC, which is the West Side Regional Alliance of Councils.
All right. Well, it is a great commission to be a part of, and they have a history of just having some strong commissioners. And I know I have personally enjoyed working with that commission, and I look forward to working with you. So with that said, if we could please open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
You are confirmed. Congratulations. Let's move now to item 3. Item 3. Okay, it's my understanding on item 3 that the individuals who signed up to speak on that item have waived, and they just want us to move forward with the vote. So on that item, item 3, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Forthwith, please.
Forthwith on that item. Okay, now we already voted on item 2, but it's my understanding that the concerns from the individuals that filled out cards on item 2 have been satisfied as well. Mr. Krikorian, I purposely waited for you to exit the room. See how quickly you could return. Item 16.
I think that can just be considered, Mr. President.
I was asked to hold it special for you.
No, we're
good.
We're good.
Okay, on item 16, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Now let's go, Mr. Krikorian, to items 18 and 19. It's items 18 and 19.
Thank you, Mr. President. Items 18 and 19 are settlements. Budget and Finance recommends approval of the City Attorney's recommendations. Unless there are questions or concerns, or the City Attorney has any concerns, I think those matters can both be considered in open session.
Okay, if Madam Clerk.
Yes, that's fine, Mr. President.
And on item 18, in the case entitled Camille Armstead versus the City of Los Angeles, there's a recommendation to expend $995,000 payable in fiscal years 2016-17 and 2017-18 in settlement of this matter. And on item 19, in the case entitled City of Los Angeles versus Jeffrey Palmer, there's a recommendation for the city to accept $400,000 in settlement of this matter.
Okay, thank you. So now let's prepare to vote. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Let's now, on item 16, vote on reconsideration. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote. Yes.
Thank you, Mr.
13
President.
ayes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Item 16, there is a technical amendment that needs to be made. There's a written amendment that's being circulated right now, so we'll be able to vote on that in just a moment.
Okay, let's go to general public comment. Ms. Pearman, Donna Pearman. Mr. Herman, you cannot disrupt this council meeting. If you do it again, we will ask you to leave. Yes.
Okay. Anyway, public comment. Another reason why we need video conferencing to Van Nuys, and because it takes over 2 hours to get to City Hall. You're from San Fernando Valley. That's why I'm late. So it's against ADA. Anyway, Democrats don't care about blacks. That's why that was a party for slavery and segregation. Liberals don't care about blacks. They take away Confederate monuments and destroy the Confederate Museum. And that doesn't give jobs to blacks. That doesn't give opportunities to blacks. That doesn't give them education to blacks by taking away Confederate symbols. It just angers the people that have Southern ancestors, and a lot of them remember their Southern heritage back, not the ones from Africa. So you're also taking away the achievements done by the blacks during that time period. It's totally wrong what they're doing in the United States, doing that.
Thank you. I want to go to Miss Stephanie Lee and William Lee. Brian Barajas. Please come forward when I call your name. Welcome.
Good morning, City Council members. Before we begin, we wanted to quickly inform you that the four of us will be speaking together. So if we could speak for a joint 3 minutes, then that would be very much appreciated.
You get 1 minute each, so keep going.
Okay, thank you. We also have flyers regarding our presentation that we wanted to share with the council members. So. My name is Anna Seo, and I'm here with Josue Reyes, William Lee, and Stephanie Lee from Cheerless WISEP and the Global Initiatives Alliance. We're youth from various districts throughout Los Angeles County seeking to unite as immigrants to celebrate our heritage and stand in solidarity during trying times. Thus, our youth organizations have joined together to hold an I Migrant Heritage Celebration this Saturday, June 10th. And we wanted to cordially invite our leaders and all of the community members to join us in celebrating our diverse community.
Yes.
All right. We wanted to begin by briefly introducing...
Your name?
Josue Reyes. Good morning, City Council members. We wanted to begin by briefly introducing the two youth organizations hosting the festival. WISEP is a youth component of the Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights of Los Angeles. We are composed of immigrant and undocumented youth that organize other students to change the injustices that our communities deal with every day. Through education and leadership building, we create leaders who spearhead the struggle of youth in the immigrant rights movement. The Global Initiative Alliance is a social advocacy group made up of passionate high school students from all over Los Angeles County who felt that it was about time that the youth got engaged with surrounding social issues. GM members feel deeply that civic responsibility transcends age, gender, race, status, etc., and that the start of real change must begin with the individual. Thank you.
Next speaker.
My name is William Lee. Now, in light of the numerous issues that are affecting our local and national community, particularly as immigrants, we wanted to become involved both in spreading awareness of our rights and methods in which we actively engage in pursuing positive change. Now, this festival is not a focus on undocumented immigrants, but a holistic workshop and celebration for all immigrants and non-immigrants who believe that our community is one that is valuable because of our incredible diversity that everyone brings into the table. Now, thus, through this Heritage Festival, we will be going through workshops that will help all of us, and regardless of our status as an immigrant, non-immigrant, friend, and or family, that to be aware of our rights and be further informed of our current political landscape.
Thank you.
I'm Stephanie, and to provide a general overview of our festival, we have 2 educational workshops and a festive cultural celebration with free cultural food, cultural performances, booths, and a celebratory raffle. In the first workshop, we'll be guiding the community in preparing for real-life situations, which any one of us can potentially be approached by ICE officers from the home, workplace, public place, and a plan for the whole family. In the workshop, we will be guiding the community. In the second workshop, we'll be walking through the political landscape of our local community and society at large, from the government's enforcements to law and changes that we can commit to in order to promote and implement positive, effective, and humane change for us all. Thus, please join us at the I'm Migrant Heritage Festival this Saturday, June 10th at Chirla's headquarters from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We look forward to seeing you there. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
That's it.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming. Brian?
Well, I turned in a leaflet. Putin's question is right. Have Americans gone mad? One of the aspects that I would like to state is the following weeks ahead would actually promote the general welfare clause of the preamble to the Constitution, which today is going to set the president standard. In the Rules Committee of the House, there's going to be a bill taken up by Marcy Kaptur called the Glass-Steagall Act, which will end the banking cartel's usurpation of our banking credit aspects of a country that we need to understand. In other words, this week, there's going to be a huge cry out to the world that the United States is going to commit itself to restoring its rightful place in the development of the whole human race.
Thank you. Patricia Barrett, Jeanette Hernandez. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Patricia Barrett, and I just wanted to thank my Councilman Wazar, who's not here, for taking
he's in the back.
Okay, for taking a stand on homelessness, number one. Number two is I'm in the 14th District in South Park, and we are having police. We at least have 2 going in our area, which is great. And one thing that I'm hoping for, that on Skid Row, that we can have more garbage cans and picking up the trash. Because when I go there, usually from a Sunday to Monday, a lot of times there's a lot of trash there, and there's still some left over. They're still picking it up, but it still needs more. And I just hope it continues, that there's still more, especially for the safety of the people in the 14th District, because it's getting really scary to walk down the street. Thank you very much, and thank you for at least making an effort, everybody.
No, thank you. Ms. Hernandez? Ms. Ponce, did you want to speak again? Lydia? Lydia Ponce, did you want to speak again? Mr. Herman? Mr. Herman, general public comment.
Pure fucking evil. LA Board of Police Commissioners denied me access with my service dog this morning, Sergeant Lopez 34472 and Williams N3088 and the Sergeant D3 Jones. Fuck all of you white niggers for opposing me and denying me access to a public meeting. It's unconstitutional and you violate my civil rights, so fuck all of you white niggers too, because there's white niggers in every club, every generation, and in every fucking clan. You discriminate, and thank God, Carol Goodson, Judge Goodson, you retired, you old haggling bitch, because you're the one that put the TROs and the TMUs against citizens of Los Angeles. Fuck you too. And in regrets to all of you, have a great day. Let's make America good once and for all.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, that concludes general public comment. Let's now vote on item 16.
And Mr. President, a substitute motion has been distributed on item 16.
Okay, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Okay, Miss. Oh, so it's a 2 vote, so we vote again. So let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Okay, now I'd like to defer to Mr. Englander. Mr. Englander, the floor is yours.
Mr. President, if you can ask Mr. Herman to stop making the sounds behind me and interrupting this meeting. If he does so again, please let him know that it's not,
Mr. Herman,
not acceptable.
This is the last warning.
Colleagues, Mr. President, I'm actually, I had asked that we do this presentation at the beginning of this meeting, and I'm grateful that you put it off towards the end, so John could experience one more time some of our delightful public comment and what now we will have to continue to go through, while he will not. So thank you for that. John has been a pillar here, not just in City Hall, but our entire community. And he's started off working with one of the longest-serving council members, Joel Wax, and from then on went to work with Tony Cardenas, Hal Burnson, Padilla, Greg Smith. He can't keep a job, folks. This guy is not welcome anywhere. In fact, I would argue that he's probably one of the unique staff members in this building that's been able to work with so many, not only elected officials, but so many different communities, and so well. And I've said for a long time that you're only as good as your staff, and I'm a firm believer in that. And it comes from the chief of staff, the most important person in your office. John has been more than a chief of staff in my office. My children have John on their in case of emergency number on their phones.
That's who John's become. In fact, he may even be on there before they get to me, in case they get in trouble. My daughters were the flower girls in his wedding. When John was first dating Sheila, this is a great story, and I've told it before, and I'll continue to tell it, because this tells you who John is. When John was first dating Sheila, Jane and I were having one of our early and first Passover dinners that we were hosting at our home. And I had only met Sheila at that time a couple times. And we were both working for Greg. And John comes to me one day and he says, "Hey, what are you doing for Passover dinner next week?" I said, "Well, we're actually hosting. You heard me on the phone with Jane. We're hosting Passover dinner." He goes, "Well, would it be okay? Because Sheila, my girlfriend, you know Sheila, she has nowhere to go for Passover dinner. I just feel so bad. I said, "John, of course, are you kidding me? Of course you're welcome. Come over, please." So he and Sheila come over, and they bring a couple bottles of wine, and we're halfway through this long, extended Passover dinner. And Sheila raises her glass and says, "Is it appropriate for me to make a toast?" I said, "Absolutely." She said, "This is the first Passover dinner I have ever experienced and been to. This is remarkable. This is so cool." And I looked at her and I said, "You're not Jewish?" And she said, "No." So I went to John. I said, "John, really?" He said, "Well, you didn't ask." But I was being honest. We had nowhere to go. Hey, we had a great time. John hasn't just been there for me and my family, and we've been through a lot of tragedies together as well. A lot. On both sides of our family. He's been there for everybody he comes into contact with, equally. And not just on our staff. He's been there for the community. He set out with the goals and the objectives of everything that every council member he's ever worked for to achieve. He created those boxes and said, "I'm going to check them off for you." When Greg ran, he wanted to build an at-risk youth center. John went out there and was the cornerstone fundraiser and raising millions of dollars, and we now have the Greg Smith LAPD PAL Center, which services, by the way, thousands of children, at-risk youth. The same thing he's done with the YMCA. The same thing he did, which was the picture of Valley secession. It was on the front of the Daily News time and time again of a closed pool in Northridge. And Greg ran and said, "Somehow I'm going to bring all the funds together to raise the money to build that pool. And John's going to do it for me." And John did. And actually became a model for every other pool that's being built in the city of LA and the partnerships that were created with Kaiser. John is unique and special. And, he's got some great opportunities ahead of him. I would say, and I often do during departures, is that it's bittersweet. But I don't know that would be honest. It's hard. John has become a brother. And when I'm having an issue, not politically but personally, anything my family's going through, anything that I'm experiencing in my life, it's my phone call, my lifeline. He's my phone a friend, and will always be, and to all of us. He's He deserves a lot. And I love you, brother. You're going to be... We've got... See the Army behind me? Those are all my new chiefs of staff taking John's place. That's what it's going to take to replace him. John, on behalf of the entire family of CD12, of the city of Los Angeles, of certainly my community, you have changed the lives of literally tens of thousands of people. You have kept kids off streets, out of gangs, and off of drugs. You have worked to build homeless shelters and picked up families and created family success centers to take families off the street. Literally have done all that. Everything you touch has turned to success. You've made a stamp and an impression that will last beyond us, with your lifetime commitment of over 20 years to the city of Los Angeles. And you've done so with an infectious smile and sense of humor. And you've been a mentor to all of us. And I love you, brother. I want to wish you congratulations and gratitude from all of us. As of today, he's still officially my chief of staff right now at this moment. And thank you for your dedication, for your service, for your honesty, your commitment, your ethics, and your leadership. My chief of staff, John Lee. By the way, just for the record, John is, some will argue, the third, I might say the second best chief of staff that ever served CD12. And on behalf of all of us, this is going to go on your dashboard since you won't have E-plates anymore to park anywhere. And I would love to read this. I won't.
I don't think it'd be appropriate.
So a lot of it is really not appropriate, but it's really, really true and very funny. And ask all of you to take a look at it at some point, but it's phenomenal. John, we love you. Here, we're going to go in the back.
Well, you know what, John, before you say a few words, it is, I didn't know a lot of that about your history, but I do know that you were very good at what you do, very knowledgeable. And I can say, Mitch, I know what you're going through. Your chief of staff is like a member. Well, your staff is like an extension of your family. And so, you know, it's going to be a tough transition for you. But, John, we wish you the best, and we wish you success. You know, you've toiled in the vineyards, and now it's time for you to reap the benefit of the grapes, okay? And so I wish you the best, and just want to say from one friend to another, if I can be of any service, know that I'm always one phone call away. I'd like to recognize Mr. Koretz at this time.
And
President, I've known John for a while because he worked with my wife, Gail, when he started his career in Joel Wax's office. And I've watched your success over the years, sometimes from a distance. And you're a real mensch, a very nice guy, and a great public servant. But, of course, you know what's coming. He is my favorite actor as well. Probably everyone on staff knows about this, nobody else does, but when my daughter was of the right age to watch Full House, I'm trying to remember, maybe 10 years old, she watched every episode, and on December 25th, there was a Christmas show, and she watched that episode too, and we're midway through it, and we both turned to each other, like, isn't that John Lee? And yes, he was an extra, but he was a very visible extra throughout the whole show as one of the friends of one of the characters. And I wouldn't say he was a great actor. In fact, you could see that this was his one chance to be on the screen, so he was always trying to make sure that he was very visible. And he was. And for several years afterwards, while my daughter was still a fan of the show, every December 25th, he would get a call, "John, we just saw you on TV." So if you ever want to see John, if you miss him and you're not running into him, look for an old Full House rerun on December 25th, and you'll see him a little younger, looks the same, but he was a little younger.
Same height. Yeah.
And so I will always remember your great acting, but I have to say you've done a little better at your day job.
Mr. Rue.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. I just wanted to rise and thank you for all your years of many, many service. And as far as I know, I think you're the best chief of staff of CD12. But more importantly...
Yeah, we should vote on that, John. You might be surprised at the outcome.
David wasn't around before, so that's a little different.
So, but more importantly than that, I just want to thank you because you're also a trailblazer, being the first Korean American chief of staff to a council member. You broke through many doors, and you provided lots of support. And I just want to wish you the best. Anything that I could do for you as well, please don't hesitate to ask. And Godspeed in your next endeavors. Thank you, Councilman.
Mr. Bonin.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to second Mr. Rue's motion, and I was around, so...
I'm still going to be here. He won't. Just saying.
I actually wanted to rise and say something about both of you, because I've worked with both of you as chiefs of staff, and I've seen the way that your office and your team runs. And I have always been very impressed by the way that you do things, by the way that you put a premium on professional development with your staff. I've seen the binders that you have where you try to come up with a development plan for everybody, and I think it's amazing. And I've really been impressed by the things that you have done in your district. Sometimes we miss the things that happen in each other's districts, but the service cabinet you have set up, and I know as an elected official that I may have an idea, but it takes the staff to do it. And John, I know you have been an absolutely instrumental and crucial part of that. I also know that you're particularly well loved by the staff that you're leaving. You have just a wonderful temperament, an ability to stay calm. I know my staff and my chief has loved working with you. He's not here today. He's going to be bummed that he wasn't here for your farewell. And dear Lord, you put up with Mitch for all these years. So
seriously, where's my medal?
Combat pay, medals. Good luck, John.
John, the floor is yours.
Oh.
Let's give John another round of applause for all of his years of service.
Council members, thank you so much for your kind comments. I can't tell you how, over the last 20 years, when I started here in 1996 with Councilman Wax, nothing has changed about how much I look up to the people that serve in this horseshoe, just how much respect I have for you, not only for everything that you do here every single day, but because over those 20 years I've had the opportunity to witness you in your communities and hear the stories that other people don't get to hear, and the concerns in the meetings that we have of just how much you care about the communities that you represent. And I've always looked up to that, and I will always take that with me. These 20 years of growing up here, started when I was, don't do the math, so I was 26. From Councilman Wax to Councilman Englander, I've learned so many different things and had the most amazing experiences. Starting with, I have to thank, obviously, Councilman Wax for giving me that opportunity to be the bottom of the totem pole in his office, the one that got coffee for everybody, and that was fine. And I just appreciated that opportunity to get my foot in the door. To Councilman Smith, who really helped me grow here in this building, and to that day I will never forget when Councilman Englander asked me to be his chief of staff. But the people I need to thank more than anybody is the community that has always supported the councilman and myself, but the people standing behind me. They are the people that I will miss the most. They come to my house on St. Patrick's Day. They come to my house every other Tuesday, every Game of Thrones day, every fantasy football Sunday. They are the reason why I'm going to miss working in this building so much, because, and I hope they know this, just how much I love and care for all of them. And they better, and I hope they know that I'm always just, while I can't call you for a year, I think you can still call me. So, but thank you, everybody. Thank you for this day and for all of this. But thank you, guys. You are the best staff. I hope you know that. So, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, John. John Lee, everybody. John, thank you for your service. Thank you, John.
Do I get to keep this?
No, you gotta get that back. You get it back in a year.
Now we know every Sunday Game of Thrones, John's house.
I have no choice. They'll be there anyway. So.
Okay, Madam Clerk, what's before this body?
Council has motions for posting and referral.
They are posted. They are referred. Announcements, members' announcements. No announcements. Can we all rise? In the council chambers, could we all rise for adjourning motions? All rise. Mr. Herman. I'm looking to my right side, Mr. Koretz.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's with the heaviest of hearts that we mourn the loss of firefighter Kelly Wong of Fire Station 92 in the Rancho Park area in my district, who passed away yesterday on June 5th, 2017, following a tragic fall from an aerial ladder during a training exercise in downtown Los Angeles over the weekend. Wong earned accolades as the top academic performer in his class when he graduated in 2015 from LAFD's Recruit Academy on Terminal Island, according to the department. And the loss of any of our firefighters at any time never comes easily and never comes without a certain amount of shock. We understand that firefighters risk their lives and can be taken from us suddenly, and that's part of their oath and commitment to the job. These men and women are indispensable to maintaining the safety of our communities, and they're our daily heroes. However, firefighters are also fathers, sons, brothers, grandsons, and friends, and integral members of our community. The loss of firefighter Wong is simply devastating and compounded by his youth. I attended last night's Dodger game that happened to be Firefighter Appreciation Night, and the stadium honored firefighter Wong with a moment of silence, and the sorrow was immediate and thick in the air. Kelly Wong was only 29 years old. He had been scheduled to transfer to Fire Station 9, which serves the downtown LA area, on June 12th. He was just starting his career and his life journey. Fire Station 92 described Kelly as a hardworking individual who was dedicated to learning his craft. He was a loving father who frequently shared pictures of his baby, Colton. Kelly was always in the mix when it came to anything from cooking, training, or doing work on the apparatus. They all say that he is a brother that will truly be missed but never forgotten. Kelly Wong is survived by his wife Danielle, his infant son Colton, his mother Ann, as well as his mother-in-law and father-in-law Barbara and Michael Quinlan, and his sisters-in-law Nicole and Stephanie. Los Angeles has lost a hero, and we offer his family and community our prayers and deep condolences.
Continuing to look to my right. Now I'm looking to my left. I don't see any more adjourning requests. Members, this council meeting is adjourned.